Well, I was searching the internet for areas I guess I shouldn't go into because they blocked this article, man. I was like, what the hell happened? And I'm going to have my own unique comments about this article that aren't going to be on the alternative media or the major media. So I try to find the article, and I say, well, here's the article under a catched thing, but you really can't see it. You know what I mean? Well, you can kind of see it, but it's like freaking... it's grayed out. They deliberately do this stuff, man. It's like you're not supposed to find out what this information is. So I'm like, I'm trying to find this information, and I could read it, but probably it's not going to show up on YouTube very well. And I'm going to make some comments on this because I'm going to tell you my different angles on this. First off, so I put it in a, I exported, I got all this bullshit software. I got Acrobat Professional, and that that's a good thing to actually save web pages versus trying to save the web pages, because I can save information that way really easy, and cross-reference everything. And I was like, wow, I could find stuff out, but I'm gonna put my own unique angle on this thing. So this was an article saying that when this roof guy shoots up a black church, there's like major media attention when this black guy shoots up a black church. Some years ago, nothing happened with the major media, but there was different angles behind the shootings, I'll say that. So anyway, it was a suspect, Anthony Bell of Baton Rouge, so they buried this article, so I'm going to tell you what the article says. The suspect, Anthony Bell, 25, of Baton Rouge, was captured in an apartment building. So he shot, opened fire at it was at a black church too, man, hitting 5 people, 4 of them fatally, before abducting his wife, who later he shot to death at another location, authorities said. So this was an example where a black guy shot into a black church, and they didn't make a story out of it, but it's a different scenario too. I mean, it was over his wife, and actually, sometimes if people get really pissed off at stuff going on and people hitting the right buttons, I know women can do those things too, whereby the guy gets that pissed off. It would be nice if he could have sent her over to, the secret government program, DARPA, and had a microchip installed in her head, and he had a remote control with 3 buttons, cook, clean, and sex, and then he wouldn't have had a problem with her. That could be a sexist remark, but you know what? I think that, I really, sometimes I wonder the whole situation with this, but the guy, I'm sure he's got fried for this, and since he shot, well, I don't want to say too much more than this, because sometimes the situation with everything is different. I didn't really equate this actually with the Dylan Roof story, but then again, I found out, and what I found interesting is how, one story gets pushed in the media, but then again, I'm a little suspicious about this Dylan Roof story in its entirety. And here's one thing: I just downloaded all his bullshit photos that these were all his photos or something, and I was trying to, what pisses me off more about this story than anything is the fact that they're freaking executing the Confederate flag. And I try to find out, where the hell does he even have a Confederate flag in his pictures? He's got 3 pictures he's holding a Confederate flag, and he's got 1 picture on a license plate, and he's standing in front of a place, an historic place, with, I don't know, whatever, some manor or something, or whatever, at the Confederacy. But there's not that many pictures with the Confederate flag. The main ones are the 3 pictures that he's holding in his hand. 2 of those pictures were photoshopped. And then I found out these pictures were released immediately from the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has been freaking playing games left and right. And, they're trying to start the same kind of crap in the United States, like they're, George Soros, who owns, and basically not owns, but mainly finances the Southern Poverty Law Center. They're trying to do the same thing in the United States that George Soros is trying to do in Ukraine. I mean, I'm more pissed off that the freaking flag, they're trying to tell them, the flag is no good, I'm going to tell you this thing with this flag, say, I remarked about how the thing doesn't make sense with, the way he's holding it and stuff. that it couldn't be, the finger position wasn't right, and this computer's too slow. This is one of my XP computers. I got an XP computer because I hate this new shit. I got Windows 7, and I got one Windows 8, and I got a bunch of Windows 7s. But anyway, I went into this deal before with, and it's on other videos where I thought this finger position was wacky. I don't think he was holding, I don't know what I think he might have been holding a knife or some shit. And there's a lot of things like with this finger, you know. I went into that before. Whoops. Damn it. I can't use this shit. You know, but the thing is, you know, them basically telling you can't have this Confederate flag anymore is bullshit. And, you know, it'd be cool if, I don't know, people could do what they want, but, you know, it'd be cool if blacks adopted this flag and maybe modified it to their own liking and put some black stripes in there or something. Because it tells the establishment to go to hell. That's the way I look at it. That's why I like this flag. I mean, it's not even so much about, you know, the Confederacy or what happened 200 years, or what is it, 150 years ago or 200 years ago. It's more like a flag. To me, this flag represents establishment and all your bullshit go to hell. That's what it represents to me. That's one of the things I like about it. It means, I know people might say, even the people that are into this Confederate flag, they might say it represents, you know, the battle flag of North Virginia or something. But to me, and they say it's not a rebel flag, but to me, it is a rebel flag. It's almost like rebel against all the bullshit. That's what it means to me. You know, I think this guy wasn't holding his flag because of this way this wacky finger position is. I went over that. I tried to make my finger do that. I couldn't. And, you know, I think the freaking one thing they're mainly crucifying on here is this Confederate flag, and it's one of those George Soros operations and stuff. So, anyway, there's been articles. You see, it's whatever. I mean, I don't know, man. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. But I can tell you that, you know, the thing is, you know, if they have an article like this, they wouldn't emphasize this too much, you know. If this guy was a white guy opening fire on 5 black people in the church and killed his black girlfriend later on, that definitely would have been major news, right? But I don't know. But, you know, the thing is, I couldn't find the article, man. It was, like, gone. I said, what are they doing here, man? They're making it so you can't see the article. So here's the, like, you know, the archive. You can't see it that good. Oh, you can't see it this way. The link is broken. I don't know. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I was trying to find something, but I couldn't find it. And, just give you a quick thing on this because something ain't right with this whole deal all the way. What I don't like about it is because I'm not sure what the deal is with this Dylan Rufio, but he could have been just a piece of shit that was on drugs and drinking a lot, and he just decided to do it. But then again, I'm not 110% sure exactly. You know, if there was some way that something else was going on where they twisted this guy's mind to do it, you know? Anyway, you know, actually, to tell you the truth, I see like a guy that goes after the wife like that, you know, it reminds me of the Jimi Hendrix song, you know, I just shot my old lady and we're going down to Mexico way, you know, hey bro, where you going? Where you going with that gun in your hand? I just shot my old lady and went down to Mexico way. That's what it reminds me of, man. You know, the heat of passion, you know, that type of stuff. You know, I mean, that story isn't exactly the same as the Dylan Roof story, but it's interesting that it's buried. You can't get it. The link is like, hey, the website, you can't find it. Oh. And here's the Wayback Machine. You can't read it. So we're all supposed to think whatever the major media is supposed to tell us to think. Screw them, man. Screw them. So this guy was Anthony Bell, 25, walked into the ministry of Jesus Christ Church and opened fire with a handgun during services. 4 people were killed. The pastor was wounded. Armstrong said Bell took off in a car with his wife and his 3 children. One of them was an infant. Then he found the 2 oldest children unharmed at the home of the grandmother in Baton Rouge. Then they found the body of Erica Bell, 24, about 2.5 hours later. Anyway, I don't know what the deal is, but you know, I ain't gonna comment much more than that. You know, that's one thing. Anyway, I already said enough about the remote control with the 3 buttons. That's probably pretty politically incorrect as it is, but anyway, not exactly the same case as the Dylann Roof thing, that's for sure. But then again, they don't want you to find this story, right? You know why? I don't know. But to tell you the truth, the thing that really pissed me off about this Dylann Roof thing is how did Southern Poverty Law Center release these photos, and there ain't too much association with a rebel Confederate flag, and 2 of the main photos that make the big association look like blatant photoshops. Now, I'm not an expert at it, but I can tell you, man, the white pole wasn't reflecting in a freaking mirror, and the finger position wasn't right on the other photo, so, and it looked like a crop. I already did that in the other video, so I'm saying to myself, I don't like this bullshit, man. But I like that flag, and not so much for American history or the Confederacy. I just like that flag because to me it represents rebel against the bullshit. That's why it really should be. People do what they want, but you know it'd be cool if it was a black flag too, maybe modified a little bit with some black stripes in there, to change it around a little bit so it's a little bit unique to the black experience. But I kind of like that flag because it means rebel. Although people into Confederate history would say it doesn't mean rebel. It means, to me, it means rebel. Rebel against freaking politically incorrect communist bullshit. That's what it means. So anyway, figured I'd just throw this out here because that was a story they didn't want you to know about. But then I'm not going to put it out in the same way other people do because actually that black guy was highly pissed off at his wife for something. And anyway, that's all I got to say about it because I think I said plenty.